I think it creates a better world.
JP Duminy is a well-known international cricketer with a massive scoring average who come from humble beginnings on the Cape Flats. Let's go find out how JP transitioned from international fame to humble servanthood. Okay, so talking about humility is important, but let's ask why. So, why is humility, first of all, something that we don't talk about in general life?
So if we had to take a step back and define humility potentially for us, what does that look like? Humility is, in my view, it's almost a dying to self where, people reflect certain accolades potentially on you, and you then sort of reflecting it off yourself onto someone else, a group of people, whatever it may be. That in some way can define humility, that it's constantly a reflection of you, or deflection rather. And for me, that's an important aspect, right? So if we go a step further then, how do we apply humility in our lives? Again, it comes down to, a holistic view of people around you.
And let's talk about your kids. You're going to teach your kids to be humble, right? And
Yeah,
I want to find out, so
that's definitely something that's important.
Why would humility in their lives be important?
That's a very good question. Why would humility be important in their lives?
Because they're going to grow up selfish.
Yeah.
I've got kids and I've seen they start selfish, and then over time, me as a parent, my job is to mold them.
Yeah.
But I've seen that one of the key things that I need them to understand is to be humble. And as the kids internalize and start understanding what that looks like, life at home becomes a little bit easier. So,
Why?
why?
I think it creates a better world. So, again, if we go back to another definition of humility, we think of service, serving others. And if each one of us had 10% of that in this world, some would have more, some would have less, one would think that we'd be in a better place from a worldly perspective and a worldly view. We would wake up every day wanting to really love and serve and be compassionate towards one another, show empathy towards one another. And that's why I certainly want to install those values in my kids, to grow up with an understanding of we are called to love others, we are called to serve others, and in that provides better opportunities for others, but also provides a better world and a sort of immediate surrounding for ourselves.
Let's define the opposite of humility. The way I define it is pride. What does pride look like in the way we communicate? You know that internal conversation you have with yourself. You wake up in the morning, you look at yourself in the mirror, and you are saying something to yourself. Sometimes you don't know it. You look at yourself, there's a communication that happens internally. So let's try and frame what is a prideful communication, internal communication look like? What would you say that is?
I would probably hear consistent words that would flow in a conversation. Words like me and I. And that in itself cannot necessarily be blatantly obvious about being prideful. But I think there's hints of it. And some possibly would be show a little bit more bravado about that than others. But I think if there's a theme there, then for me that's a red flag. And we just have to be very wary of that.